Unscripted Adventures, new video, let's go. It's been more than a week since I moved to Bangkok for a few months, and the city has been absolutely fascinating. But there were a few things that surprised me, and this is what this video is gonna be about. This is 5 things that surprised me after a week in Bangkok. The first thing that hits you when you arrive to Bangkok is the smell of the food. Thai street food is something absolutely amazing, and I've never seen that before. You can find a vendor, a shop, or a stand pretty much in every single street, alleyway, pretty much everywhere, in all parts of the city. And you should try it. Why, you're asking? Well, it's cheap, it's good, and the options are absolutely endless. Like, you can get grilled meat, fish, seafood, exotic fruits, you can get a juice from the exotic fruits, you can get sweets, whatever you wish, they're gonna have it. There are even street markets with like electronics, like power banks and those small things you buy everywhere, but they have these everywhere in here. Sometimes the tourist office or like the brochures will tell you not to go to the street food stands and etc. Well, I think that would be a huge mistake to pass on this one, because it is an experience and you really have to try it out. And if you are still afraid, you can still go to more frequented touristy places, the bigger street markets that are more popular, but more on that in a different video. Bangkok is really a green city. Imagine that. In Europe, we often struggle with building parks, and we spend millions of euros on projects that make cities more green, more ecological, and etc. Well, imagine this. Bangkok is one of the greenest cities I've ever seen. Does that even work? Probably. Well, there are so many parks around the city, like the Lumpini Park with the lizards, more about that in this short, or the Royal Park, which I haven't been to yet, but it looks amazing and I heard only good things about that. People also do sports in the park, they practice yoga, they go for a run or just hang out with their friends. It really all feels so alive and social, which is absolutely amazing. But greenery in Bangkok is not only about the parks. Literally everywhere you see there is a free space, there is a tree growing out of it or a plant or something. Even sometimes that there is no light, like you have the SkyTrain and there are trees under it. Well, it works, I guess, but it's everywhere and it feels really nice to be surrounded with greenery all the time. Maybe it's because I move in the city center and it's supported, I don't know, but it looks really nice. Thai people are really friendly. Everyone in here was so nice and it was absolutely amazing. People are always smiling, even if we don't understand each other. Like, it doesn't end up in this awkward situation where you speak with somebody who doesn't speak English, like in some countries in Europe, like Portugal or Spain. Here, you just don't understand each other, you smile at each other, you're happy that it worked out probably, and if it didn't, you still got a smile from somebody, so that's pretty good. But Thailand is called the land of smiles, and now I get it why it is like that. Even all the Thai people who speak English, like in the international community, were super friendly. In the co-works, everyone is really friendly, and the customer care here is absolutely top-notch, like in every single thing. I've never seen such a good customer care like in Thailand. Also, one more thing that kind of stays to me is when I walk on the street, I feel way more safe than walking in some European cities or cities like in the US. Maybe that's because I'm in more like central part of Bangkok, a bit more like touristy or expat friendly. But like compared to the US, like I feel really, really safe in here, especially when all the people around are really nice. And yeah, they stare at me quite often because I'm 6'2", which is like 190 centimeters, so I'm really tall, but yeah, it's really nice so far. Going back to walking through the streets, I've noticed that it has very dystopian feel to it. Like, on one hand, you see those really nice Buddhist temples and shrines and it has such a historical feel to it and like religious feel. Then on the other hand, you have those shiny skyscrapers and office buildings, luxury condominiums. in contrast with really old and rusty buildings that kind of fall apart sometimes, and streets that look like if you walk into them you probably will get mugged, which contradicts what I said before, but it gives you very like off-putting vibes because it makes you realize, well, this is not Europe, this is Thailand, this is Asia, it's different. And it really is, and the vibe is interesting. At first it felt really weird and off-putting, maybe surreal, but with time passing on, I kind of got used to that, I guess. But it's really surreal how the architecture here is just mix of all the styles from the world, like the European, the Americans, the Chinese and Japan, everything just mixed into the one city. And you can see literally right next to each other a Buddhist temple and like a huge skyscraper. It's weird. For some people, I like it. It gives me modern feel because I come from Prague and we don't have skyscrapers, so I kind of like that one. Before coming here, I knew that the traffic can be tough. People told me that it's really hard to get around Bangkok in the peak times. Well, that is true in the peak times, which is like 1 or 2 hours a day. But outside of the peak times, it's really easy and really fast. You can use the taxis or the Grab application. They're super cheap. It's like $4 to $5 to get somewhere which is like 15-20 minutes far, which is really cool, really good. Or if you look for a bit more adrenaline, you can try to use the motorbikes. It's like a motorbike taxi, just a guy with a scooter or a bike picks you up and drives you across the city. That's even cheaper, that's like $2 or like 40-50 baht. But it seems really dangerous in my opinion, but that's up to you to try that out. Or if you want to spare some money, you can use the SkyTrain or the metro or the buses. The buses are a bit confusing because everything is in Thai. And the SkyTrain and the metro is good. However, the stations are often in really odd places. Like you can't really get to the part where all the tourists go, like to the Royal Palace and those places. It's really far from it, or it's like a kilometer of walking, which for day-to-day moving is not really convenient. But it's really cheap. It's like 25 baht to get across 6-7 stations, and there is an AC in it, which is really nice. Last but not least, a tip on how to get around using a tuk-tuk. If you actually want to use a tuk-tuk, like, okay, it's always better to use a taxi because the tuk-tuks are really expensive and they can be really scammy. But if you tell the driver I want to go from point A to B and you show the price that you would get in the Grab application, like from a taxi, they are most likely to agree on that price and you will be fine. But those drivers of the tuk-tuks are everywhere and they often like offer you, hey, do you want to go around the tourist site? And that's a scam because they'll drive you to a shop where you will be forced to pay for something and to buy things, and that's just ridiculous, and don't do that and don't fall for that trap. And the tuk-tuks drive really fast, so be ready for that. This was 5 things that surprised me after a week of living in Bangkok. And if you like this video, click on the thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.